right, welcome everybody to another exciting episode of the Team Lead Talks podcast. I'm your host out of Alexandria, Virginia, Andrew Becker. On today's episode, I have a very super special guest today, Jason Cheperdak, who's the founder of the Shepherd Homes Group. But it's not because that reason. There's his logo right behind him. Jason was in fact the first ever guest that we had on this podcast back when I had no clue what in the world. Well, I still don't know what I'm doing with the podcast, but back when I really had no clue what I was doing with the podcast. And we have asked him to come back and brought him back, and he gracefully accepted to be the 100th episode published. So welcome to the show, Jason Cheperdak. Good to have you, dude.
Love it. Excited to be here. What are we talking about today? What are we doing?
So a lot has changed in both of our worlds. For you, I was just talking like the amount of success that you've had. You were already successful back when we first had you on. Now it looks like you've XX'd. You're flying all over the world. You're doing all kinds of really cool things. One thing that I read on your website, though, that really intrigued me was over 2,000 homes sold and over $1 billion in recorded sales volume. How like that is a massive number. Number
We
one.
flew past that. We're updating that now.
Okay.
It's crazy. We're going to run into some numbers today.
Okay, cool. Yeah, number one team in the DMV, big team. I saw maybe this is outdated too. You have 50 plus people on the team. You didn't start there, but now you're here. I want to talk about the successes you're having. And most importantly, maybe we can start at like the aha moment for you, Jason, where you're like, hey, I want to start a team. How do I figure this out? When did it actually click for you to get on the trajectory that you are right this second today? And then I want to dive into how in the world are you doing this every single day?
Okay. Where do you want? Okay. What's the first question? I'm all in. I'm an open book to that.
All right. So a lot of people want to start teams. A lot of people struggle with it. Some people have mild success. You have wild success here. What can you trace this back to like an aha moment when you're like, man, I think I really I implemented this, it really clicked, and then it was just like, it's over from here and you're just growing. Can you trace it back to
Yes.
anything like that?
Yes, there's a very distinct moment. So, for those of you that don't know, I was a full-time store manager at Target when I started real estate.
Yeah.
And so I had to be on a team because I needed all the resources to show a home while I was stocking diapers with my team at Target.
Okay.
So I always had a team, but I learned really quickly the restrictions within the team structure because I felt it because I was on a team for 3.5 years. So the really distinct moment, the aha, was when I actually chose to go join a different team and decide if that was right for me or if I was starting my own team. And what I did is I interviewed every major team in Maryland, DC, Virginia. I interviewed at over 20 teams, and I wrote down everything that was good about them and everything was bad about them. And I basically created a list of everything that I wish a team had.
Okay.
And that is how I ended up choosing to create the Shepherd Homes Group. And I kind of had this vision of filling in the gaps of all the things that I thought that didn't exist in the industry. And that became, I think, our special sauce in a way of where we are today and maybe a testament to some of our foundational success.
Very cool. So it kind of started as an R&D, a research and development. Like, do you want to go join a team? And then you're like, hey, I've collected a lot of data and I see kind of what's working, what's not. And then ultimately you decided to start the Shepherd Homes Group, and the rest is history there.
And why people don't stay on the team. I thought that was a fascinating data point as to why somebody would choose to leave a team in the first place.
Okay. You mind sharing? This is a sharing show where we talk about tactical, action items here. What were you seeing out there?
So I think agents leave teams for 3 distinct reasons. 1, the brand is about the team leader and not about a brand that an agent can be magnified within. So my logo is a shepherd, someone who guides and protects others. So it's a mission statement.
That's not you next to the dog?
That is not me.
Okay.
And it's not me. The brand is not the Jason team. So many teams are agent, name team. And so that's factor 1 is our brand replaces the brokerage's brand.
Okay.
And we broker through a brokerage that allows us to have our presence there. It says our brokerage's name in really small writing. So that's factor 1. Factor 2 is that the resources are not scalable for the agent. The team's not providing a comprehensive suite of services that allow them to scale to very high volume. with in-house support. So that's like real humans serving real people. And then the third is a commission structure where there's this balance of services and commissions taken in. And if you can't provide balance there and the split's really high and services are incredible, or the services are really bad and the split's really low, those worlds also both don't work. It needs to be the perfect balance of very good services, but an incredibly decent split where I cannot create what I have on my own ever. That is a very important sticky piece to our business where I hope our agents feel like they could never recreate what we're providing for them independently. And if so, the risk would just be vastly too high for them to want to do that.
Yeah, very well said. I like those 3 points. And I would love to unpack number two, though. You mentioned
Mm.
having a set of resources or a suite that you offer. Let's deep dive into that, Jason. What do you mean by that? What are you providing? Like, let's say if I join your team, like we're in the same area, I'm coming onto your team. Like, what does that look
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm in heavy production still. I've already sold 56 million myself this year,
like? Wow.
just so far this year.
Yeah.
And so I need a lot of resources, and all the resources that I need as a very high volume agent, I've created for myself, which therefore creates for the team in a way that's very productive. So I think for anybody out there who's completely out of production, you might be a little out of touch with what an agent needs today if you're not producing. So this little sidebar. But for my team, anything that's not meeting with a client, you don't do. So you don't write offers, you don't do listing paperwork, you don't do MLS, you don't schedule photos for staging, all of that's scheduled. You don't do your MLS, you don't do your listing description. All of that's done for you. You don't do your presentations, they're all printed and prepared for you. You don't do your marketing, you don't do your mailers, all of that is outsourced. You don't do your website, Follow Up Boss, our CRM, all of that is also done for you. Our lead flow is managed by a lead flow team. So all you have to do is update your individual statuses. When you're actually showing homes, we have a showing support structure to our business for agents that can scale as well. And then we have a lot of clerical admin support staff. So we have an in-house listing coordinator that strategizes and does customer service to your clients. We have an in-house transaction management team. So once you ratify a contract, very high level version of TC because it's in-house and in person. And then for our highest tier agents, even the gifting programs and post-closing programs are done. So for example, if you're a tier 5 agent doing 30 million or more, a custom gift is ordered and curated for you, prepared for you, and waiting on your desk so you can take it to closing for you.
Nice.
And we have our own settlement office for that. We even have our own notary program where we even have notaries that are third parties that are trained on the closing experience so that our team can schedule the notary. The notary can show up and execute the closing experience for our agent, where our agent doesn't have to do any of that. And then there's title. We have title partnerships. Our title processors are dedicated to our team and follow an exact cadence of process with our TC team. So this ecosphere is really done where the agent only has to strategize and execute new business. Everything else is done for them really perfectly.
Very cool. I'm a firm believer. That is amazing, by the way, in controlling all the controllables or all the variables
Everything.
around a transaction and not leave it to chance. And that is almost by
Mm.
definition, Jason, like you've uncovered every stone and said, like, how can we, the Shepherd Homes Group, implement a team, a process, a system to do the same thing the same way every single time, which is absolutely fantastic. And a testament to see how you've been doing on your own 56 million. I'm curious, like, if you're doing 56, what is the rest of the team doing? And you mentioned something that like kind of was intriguing to me. You mentioned a tier 5 agent. What in the world does that mean? So what's your team looking to do, yeah, like year to date or through the end of the year? Sounds like you're on track to do like $8 billion worth of real estate in this area. But what does the tier 5 mean also?
So we have 5 tiers. Tier one, we don't have any tier one agents or tier two agents anymore. And that is someone doing production below $3.5 million is tier one.
Okay.
Below 7 million is tier two. Below 12 million is tier three. Almost our entire agent base is doing more than 12 million in production per year, which is very rare because most teams, once they scale, average production per agent, I would probably say is between 2.6 and 4 million. Our average production per agent is almost 15.5 million right now. It is an insanely high average production per agent. And so I think that's an important differentiating factor for us as well. Tier 5 is over 30 million in production. And so every time you tier up, your commission split on business that you generate, your SOI, gets better and better and better. And then the services offered to you also get more scalable in nature. And so as you sell more, you make more naturally and you're more leveraged at the same time. And
Yeah.
then for us, it creates tremendous amounts of consistency in our business when we know our average agent is selling 2.5 to 3.5 homes per month.
Yeah.
Game changer.
That is what's I'm curious, like what's the highest tier that one can achieve
Tier
here?
five.
Tier
Tier
5.
five, over 30 million. And to put things in perspective, in like our Northern Virginia core market, if you're doing more than 25 million, you're basically in the top 250 realtors, the top 0.5% of realtors. And so the majority of our agents rank in the top 5% of agents in the whole marketplace. And that's kind of our niche. That's the realtor that we attract. We want to, like, I have 5 agents joining me in this quarter. All of them are 12 million to $20 million producers that want to double their sales, and that's like the perfect kind of person.
Yeah.
And with that, we're on track to sell 600 million this year at a minimum.
Awesome.
So I'll probably sell 85 to 100 million, and then the team will sell 500 million most likely.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
You mentioned like tier 5 being your top. What I'm curious, like you mentioned specialty gifts curated by your team. It's almost like an in-house concierge like feeling
Yes.
when somebody goes to your team. Is that correct?
That's exactly what it should be. Everything that you want to outsource or have support on is done for you. And it is also way more scalable because the hard part of a solo agent is if you really want to scale, you need a showing agent and you need a full-time admin. And that admin is your TC, or you've got third-party TC supported by a full-time licensed admin and a showing agent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the hard part with that is you got key man risk in all of the aspects of leverage. So if your TC gets hit by a bus, you're out of business. If your admin gets hit by a bus, you're out of business, and vice versa. And so for so many people, it's unscalable because they hire a great person, they last for 6 to 8 months, but guess what they want? They want career progression. And if I'm dealing with one guy, Joe Schmo, I'm like, do I stick here forever and make 65 to 75 grand, or do I go on to something bigger? Whereas what we offer is a world where our staff sees the company growing and they're all growing in their compensation and skills,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's redundancy to each role. And so for our agents, like, they get one person in the event that they're on vacation, they have another person. In the event they're on vacation, there's another person. These layers of growth and strength is what allows us to continue to grow and layer in. But the big thing is hire before there's ever a need.
Yes, that's so key.
It's so key. And it's like for an agent, if you're making, let's say, 300 grand a year, do you really want to spend a third of your income to hire to grow?
Yeah.
That's the hard part for
Right.
so many people. And that's why I think it's never been as hard to start a team than now. I think it's for sure the hardest it's ever been to do that.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Well, here's the million, or maybe I should say the $600 million question.
Okay.
So much production that you're doing and that your team is doing. I'm sure a lot of people listening would want to be like, okay, well, that's amazing. It's fantastic. It sounds like your operations are like top tier. Talked to a lot of people on this show, and that is very impressive hearing what you just told us. How in the world are you getting all this business? Where is it coming from? Are you spending $500,000 a month on marketing, or is it all SOI? Like, how are you keeping this engine running at this high level all the time? I follow you obviously on social media. We're connected there, but how do you do this?
I think it's a complicated question because the real answer is there's nothing that we don't do for marketing. We have a great marketing budget, but we run a business like a business. I've got a cash flow pro forma that shows my expense scale and marketing ROI report over the next 3 years of projections. And then we have our monthly profit and loss statement and our marketing ROI report. And we cross-reference our projections to current month over month. And we actually have our own apps that we've built through AI vibe coding. And we have our own internal KPI dashboard where I look at that KPI dashboard and I can see exactly where the business is from a macro perspective and versus our forecast the next fiscal year. So just to kind of put things in perspective of the data and the way that we run the business is so high level that it's kind of hard to compare that to somebody starting a team. So there's kind of like a foundational overview. But with that context, I think what we've done over time and we've done very well is we have not built multiple pillars simultaneously. We've always had like a couple key pillars to our ad spend that we went all in on, and we didn't do something else until we maximized that opportunity. And this follows what I call the more, better, new strategy. You don't do anything new until you can do more of what you're doing and make it better until you've maximized more better before you do anything new. So with that, over the years, we've layered third-party relationships. So that's like all your mega platforms, Realtor.com, Homelight, Fast Expert, Effective Agents, all those referral-based leads were foundational pillar one because they're data metric driven. Then our first big partnership was with Zillow. I was spending almost $55,000 a month on Zillow at one point, but a 383% month over month ROI to put things in perspective. So do the math there
Oddly
for the
spent amount
audience.
to do that.
Okay, you have to spend to do well. But now that's turned into Zillow Preferred, and we have a Zillow Preferred relationship. So we took that off the books, and it's been a great partnership. Then you've got other larger third-party companies that we've really built relationships with, like Veterans United or the Alliance Realty Network, that are referral-based, but are much larger partnerships with the number of agents we have in those programs. But then been the newest pillar is how we've taken marketing in-house with our own marketing team. So, Ylopo and all of these companies, you're fighting for low-end, difficult leads that people don't want to work. So we worked really hard over the past 36 months to create our own Google Analytics team and drive our own website traffic. And right now we're probably selling 2 to 3 homes a month just from our own website leads that are coming in directly to the company, our own Google ad spend, our own online funnels, where we're trying to create a lack of dependence on third-party companies and bring that in-house. And then our local perspective, we farm a lot. We do a lot of your natural basics like road signs. I have a team of 5 in the field putting up road signs. Our road signs are everywhere, and then investing in the quality of marketing. So you've got all of these pillars that we've built over time, but it's not one thing. But what I will tell you is that you absolutely have to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you can't scale. Period. End of story.
Yeah, it's amazing. That was a lot to unpack in that, Jason,
I'm
but
telling you,
a
we could
couple
have a
things
2-hour podcast on marketing.
I know, but I was telling you before this, we max out at 20 minutes now, so we're almost there. But a couple things I want to unpack there. Number one is you said something that a lot of people know, but they don't actually do, and that is you're treating this business like an actual business. A lot of people
Absolutely.
are just running, crazy, trying to close, 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 close. They're in it, they're in it, they're in it. They're never on it. They don't take that step back. But in order to do that, you have to look at data and analytics to see what's working and what, most importantly, what is not. And you use this to project, predict, and to plan not only the next quarter out, but you mentioned 3 years out. How important is that
Can
data?
I take a step further?
Yeah, go ahead.
We go so deep where we coach and train and mentor our agents to run their independent businesses like
Yeah,
the team runs their business.
awesome.
That's a major differentiating factor. You know how
Yeah.
many agents I call or mentor and I ask them how many clients they have and they don't know? Get this. Anybody watching the podcast, answer this question. Do you have a list of past clients by year closed since you started? Almost no one has the basic data of their business
Isn't that
to be able to
crazy, man?
go and find. Blows my mind. And so if you're starting a team, you got to make sure that your team, each agent is operating like a business in a business that is a business.
Yes.
That's a great way of maybe summarizing that.
I'll add one thing. I always thought this was funny. I would have people doing 50 million, 100, 150 million in my world. And I'm like, hey, man, where's your last 10 closings? What lead sources were they? And they're like, honestly, I don't know. I'm like, could you be doing 500 million if you knew that level of detail? And the kicker is not only to have that information, Jason, in my opinion, it's to collect that information repeatedly, consistently in a manner that's automated so it doesn't get jacked up or all janky and you can actually trust that data. That is
Yes.
so key. If you're a business owner, regardless of the industry, but we're talking real estate because we're on the real estate podcast here, but know your numbers and know them in real time, in as real time as you possibly can. And that's how you catch stuff, you tweak, you pivot, you audit to do the kind of business that you're doing. Someone's going to look at you from an outsider's perspective and say, "Oh my gosh, how in the world?" And then they're going to listen to this and you're like, "I know every number. I know every person's number individually, aggregate for the company." And then they're going to say, "Oh, I can do that," but then they won't do that. And then
No,
they're just going to join your team, Jason.
it's a lot of work.
It
It's a
is, but
lot of
it's
boring work.
The
but it's
juice is
so
worth the
fulfilling.
squeeze as a business owner. That's how you start talking P&L profit margins going from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40, getting
and
lean. And you can't
and
do that if you're not measuring.
run a profitable team. Now, get this. If you're not profitable, you can't give abundance to your team, and then your team doesn't have any abundance to give to their clients.
Exactly. So a waterlogged
So,
in the opposite direction that you want to go in.
what are you trying to create? Yes.
Yes, yes. Well, dude, this has been fantastic. I know we're up on time and you're an extremely busy man. Thank you so much for coming back and being a part of our 100th episode, which will air probably, we're doing 3-ish a week now, so probably in a few weeks from now. We'll definitely tag you in it. But one parting question that I ask everyone, man, and you've already given so much, like if you haven't taken anything away from here, and we always hope that people can take away just one thing, it's track relentlessly so you can do all the
Mhm.
stuff that Jason says that and has shown that he's been doing. But is there a resource, a book, checklist, anything that if someone's listening is like, man, I need to like make a move the needle to the right, get a little progressive here that you can share that could change their life, their community, or their business?
I have something even better than that. So I actually created a course on my Instagram. It's linked to for any realtor trying to choose a brokerage, start a business, start a team, and know exactly all the foundational pillars that I wish I knew. And in fact, my brokerage uses it as the number one training tool for every new
That
agent in the
you
entire.
created? Nice. Okay.
So
And
if you want a resource, you want to know my world, you want to even like watch recordings of me with real clients doing a real presentation, all of that is in my course. So you can find that on my Instagram, which is just at Jason Cheperdak. There's a link to my link tree and you can sign up.
very cool. That is amazing, man. If you are listening now, take advantage of that $1 billion producer on the show today, Jason Cheperdak. We will include all of Jason's information as well in the description of this episode. So we will make sure to put the Instagram course up at the top here. Jason, thank you so much for being here. One last thing, if anyone is in our area, we're in the DMV and wants to talk to you, not only to sell or help buy their home, but to also maybe it sounds like you're actively recruiting and attracting great people on your team. How can
We
someone
are.
find you? How do they reach out?
My cell phone's so easy. My cell phone's everywhere, even on my Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram at Jason Cheperdak, Google me, or my cell phone is 774-278-1509. It's always available.
Awesome. And we will also include his contact information in the description as well. So be sure to reach out to Jason. Can't thank you enough for coming back, dude. Such a special event for me personally. It's really cool to have the first and the 100th be you. So thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Congrats. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.